Hi guys, happy full moon in Libra. This is a beautiful full moon that we can use really to manifest in the best relationships into our lives. Whether, it's a soulmate, twin flame, kingdom spouse, a divine union. This is definitely the full moon to kind of manifest that higher love into your life. And I'll talk about what's happening for your sign and what's going on with this full moon and some manifestation practices for it. So let's get into it. So yeah, I do love this. It's this full moon is the 23 degrees of Libra. So that's all about, kind of connecting a dawning of a new consciousness. There's so much about this full moon that's about revelation and things being revealed, especially when it comes to love and money and our commitments, because Venus has been retrograde. Venus has been in the underworld, stuff being just uncovered, veils being lifted, so we can, be very clear with what we want moving forward. And Venus will go direct, shortly after this, but we kind of are really realizing what yeah, like whether it has to do with certain relationships or certain commitments or certain dynamics, what we could be, outgrowing in some way. I think this is majorly like frequency alignment, we're recognizing the relationships that haven't been evolving with us, where, we could be at a higher frequency and the lower dense relationships kind of have to dissolve away. And it's really important to commit to yourself with what you value so you can manifest that higher relationship, that higher love, that higher, value, like what you really value, so you can manifest, anything else that you want, whether it's a job or, any type of commitment. It could be your commitment to like a new car or, a new place of living or something like that. If you want to manifest higher, whatever that means to you, this is definitely, the full moon where you need to commit to yourself so you can really do that. But at the same time, we're getting into that deeper, soulful knowing of what's really important to us. We're listening to our inner truth and, our heart. This is a major, just heart alignment where we can tap into that knowing. And as long as we tap into that inner knowing, we can let go of things a lot easier. We can let go because we don't necessarily know, but the soul does know. So we can have deep emotional internal realizations. And it's really important to let the emotions flow, like feel with this full moon, because those emotional waves are going to bring major clarity about certain patterns, about just that deeper soulful knowledge that you need to know. It could be from past lives, could even be from this life. But all of this will give you a lot of clarity about where you can go next, a lot of just awareness. So it's really good to really evaluate any of your commitments when, with Venus conjuncting Saturn. It's the ruler of this full moon. When it comes to relationships and contracts and certain dynamics, what have you outgrown? What needs to be released? What karmic cycles, like any loops, patterns, or whatever cycle that you're just kind of sick of? This is, how you can eject yourself out of any of those cycles and what needs to just be released. Because the North Node, it wants to go towards the new, your soulful growth and your soulful evolution. And it's really, really important to stay moral during this one, take the moral high ground because there can be, deals or just something that comes into your life that seems maybe too good to be true. And maybe it comes into, maybe it's like a fast reward. Take the slow route with this one. With Saturn here, it's like actually there's Astrology says this a lot. Good things come s slow and evil things come fast. So like with Rahu, because Rahu isn't necessarily, good, but it's nice that Saturn's here, tampering it down. So we can really Be really serious and sober when it comes to the decisions that we're making, and take the high ground and know that building good things does, it takes time, whether it is relationships or whether it is a job or any sort of commitment that that you have. So yeah, it's really important to envision what you want to experience also. So this is a manifesting thing you should do. Envision, visualize, really connect to, because you're getting that all that soulful information. And if you can see it in your mind, then you can like hold it in your hand, or Bob Proctor, like you can manifest it if you can see it in your mind. They actually do say usually that whatever you see in your mind is the lowest like manifestation that you can manifest. So therefore it should be easy. So really like envision it, feel it in your heart, connect with it. When it with, connecting with the new. Um, and it's important to kind of realize with this energy too, all this Pisces energy, I've noticed it's like certain structures are definitely dissolving, and we have to kind of be more in that soulful flow. And it's just going to be easier to be in that soulful flow versus, working Monday through Friday, just because it's Monday through Friday. Like, you know, recognize the flow of nature. And the more that we can, be in a structure that is more in flow with the organic world, it's just going to be a little bit easier if you can, as much as you can. But it's important, with that too. We're connecting with oneness, and it's really important to diversify your energy, throughout your life. You can't spend like all the time at work. You can't spend, all the time, doing just one thing. You have to diversify your energy to all areas of life. And I think that's how you can find more abundance also. You got to find room for joy, room for rest. It's better to rest than to stress. Like I keep on telling people that just are so frustrated right now with things that haven't been moving forward, and things will move forward after this like full moon. It is going to be a lot easier. This is kind of like when the new year is really starting and we're moving forward. So it will get a lot easier, but when it's time to rest, when it's time to pull back, just rest and appreciate that time, to really get your energy right, to get into that alignment, to kind of like find the pleasure in all areas of life and get your vibration up. Because that kind of just makes you adaptive too, and connect to those soulful things of where you can kind of follow your, passion and your instinct and see another opportunity randomly, So it's good to kind of just like go in the flow a little bit, very woo way. So you can find that internal expansion at the same time. And yeah, any emotional waves, allow the storm to happen, and that will bring a lot of like inner clarity. There's a lot of turbulence with this North Node right here. I have this in human design, they are no gene keys, they call it turbulence. So I have this one natally. And yeah, it can be intense emotions. I think more intense for people that don't have this because they don't have to deal with it. So it kind of leads you through a roller coaster of emotions or a storm. So you kind of like ride it all the way through, and you get so many like deeper realizations. And it could be about, just stuff from the past, and, and something now. Well, something that happens now, but it triggers something from the past, and it brings on this whole thing. So you can find that emotional, like, awareness. And, after that, you write it into clarity and more of that soulful knowing. And, you find that expansion from there, the internal expansion, which is super important. And with that, you have more, it opens up your heart. You have more compassion, more love, more empathy for life and all of life's crazy situations. Because, again, with this too, you can kind of go through a lot of life situations, and it is all to just open up your heart more and to just see the different perspectives of things, and just to have more awareness of all of what life holds, and ultimately that we came here to learn, go through all of these different life lessons and everything. And it is ultimately for growth and more compassion for everybody in general. Okay, and I do love how, yeah, Venus and Mars are, trining, Mars is trining Saturn and the North Node and Mercury, where, our actions are, in line now. What we want to take action, how we want to take action, how we want to move forward. It's all aligned with that soulful knowing, with how we're feeling. And this can, with it square, then with Mars square the nodes, it's like, maybe we're a little bit irritable and maybe we do have to choose a little bit, but don't choose your comfort zone in the practical. Do have to choose the more of the unknown, or oops, not square, it's sextile, and try and like, yeah, don't like you can let go of the past in a easier way. You can like set yourself free from the overworking, or over organizing, the over planning things, and kind of go with the flow. Trust your spirit, trust your soul, trust your heart, trust your inner knowing, and align your actions with how you feel, because that is ultimately you listening to your soul. And this masculine energy has had so much healing, and let's talk about Libra though. So Libra, it is all about balance. It's about relationships, it's about harmony and how we relate to others. It's about beauty, art, love. And in Gene Keys, I'm combining both now because I love it. Like you get that gut knowing in your body. So whatever we need to let go of in this Libra area of life, we're going to feel it in our body. And what we're going to be feeling is a fear of failure in some way. And we have this in so many ways, societal expectations, fear of failing a relationship, fear of, that's a reason why so many people don't get divorced because they feel like they'd fail, and why they don't quit jobs, and why, or even, there could be a fear of money, a fear of, starting a family, a fear of disappointing your family, a fear of the group. And what you can kind of realize, and this is a manifestation tip that's going to be really helpful, this is where the shadow work can happen. This is where we can kind of write down what we're afraid of, and yeah, and you'll feel it too. It's so crazy. I already feel it, even though it's like, I'm recording this before, but we can recognize our fears, and we're going to be just really connected to it. So, journal it out, write it out, and also send it love. It's important to recognize those fears and say, it's okay to feel fear about, not being a success, or, disappointing your family, or whatever it is. Like, it's okay to feel that in your body, but ultimately you're going to be okay. Because real success is not really worrying about if you're going to succeed or fail. Failure is actually an illusion. So you have to realize, like, it's all just, an experiment of life overall. And you get to decide, like, the more you can release those fears, actually, the more you have awareness of how you can create in a better way, how you have more options, how you can have, different relationships, more, different connections, different ways of doing things. You connect to the oneness when you release the fears, and you kind of get your mind back a bit. So just recognize what fears you can release during this, and it'll give you, you'll be able to manifest in a way easier way, because you can, connect more so to the collective and just the wider opportunities, and more to the love, and what's kind of good for everybody. Because you're giving yourself permission to adapt and evolve instead of staying too blocked off in the same relationship patterns, or the same dynamics, or in the same group or community that doesn't get you connected to oneness and what's actually ultimately good for everybody, which is, as much as you can get there, you can manifest faster and you can, evolve consciously too. So, really see where um, you can let go of fears and certain dynamics that have just been completed when it comes to relationships. All relationships are the best mirrors. So for spiritual growth and just life evolution, like if you need to get either way in a relationship, you're going to deal with wounds, you're going to deal with triggers. And especially when you go into those higher level connections, you deal with the worst triggers and the deepest wounds. And there's no way around it. I mean, I guess you can choose to opt out, but at the same time, it makes when you do like let yourself like kind of evolve in that way, um, you just get to experience so much more life, and it's not easy, but your life just opens up in so many ways. So realize like how you can, everybody is a mirror ultimately, but how can you kind of evolve from what you're seeing and who's approaching you and how you can let, other people illuminate the triggers within so you can kind of be stronger. Because this with Mars squaring the moon and the sun, that's what I meant to say. There might be some emotional triggers when it comes to security and safety and nurturing and needing to have those emotional conversations. Um, and maybe not be so surface, with the Libra stuff. And you're kind of, not reacting at the same time when it comes to these wounds and these triggers and how you can be self-empowered. Instead, you're talking about the wounds and just like letting it out and letting yourself heal from that. And you can know like what you need to let go. So these wounds will definitely be catalyzed during this, like the sun's right on Chiron. Something's being highlighted about these wounds, but that's just going to allow more healing and integration and self-empowerment and more embodiment of who we truly are. So we can claim more of our greatness, so we can clear any resentments, and really embrace our shadow in some way too. There's so many ways like we suppress our shadow because we thought, being controlling isn't good, being nitpicky isn't good. But it for like Virgos, being nitpicky is good. You should do that. And then, we all have a shadow, and it's good to just be aware of your shadow. Don't live in the shadow, but obviously you can love your shadow. And, the shadow can be good sometimes. You can still build with the shadow, like Virgos with, being nitpicky and just knowing every little detail. Like that is very important, actually. And, they can use it in the right way, but they can't use it in the wrong way, you know? So yeah, it kind of lets you also, I think we're going to realize a lot with this, like how we have maybe boxed ourselves in when it comes to relationships. Um, Especially like growing up, we all have wounds and everything, but especially if you're empathic, it's like you take on all the pressure and like who you have to be. We build a character basically with who the world is kind of telling us to be. And what's okay, what's not okay. I mean, literally, I think everyone has done this. Like the only one I think that really did this didn't do this. Like in my area was like Jeffree Star. Like he was always like that actually growing up, like in Orange County and everything. And that wasn't easy for him, because, I don't know. But look at where he is today. But he's always decided to just fully be who he wanted to be and just like tell the world to, suck it. He used to get in fights all the time at the kaleidoscope and everything. But yeah, so we're we're facing those like deeper like when we take decide to live from other people's like fears or ego, like say if you started doing something, your mom would be disappointed, or if you started doing what you really wanted to do, your dad would be disappointed, or your parents. You're kind of just you're saying yes to their fears and their ego, and you're saying no to God. You know, you have to say yes to God in your full expression of what you came here to do. Because most people don't do what they want to do because of somebody else. They're like, oh, they want it like that. Oh, like, what would they say and stuff like that. So many people kind of get stuck in this like identity character that's not fully them. And we're peeling off the layers so we can like break open the box, really be fully embodied and accept all of our blessings. Because when we get stuck in the box, we have money problems, we become addicts, we have more resentments, like all these things that get us really out of alignment. And we have to realize, especially if you're the empath, like you have to like fully embody yourself, and there's no more holding anybody else's pain. Give them their pain. They need their pain to evolve. The people that don't spend time in their emotions, like they should spend some time in their emotions so they can live their authentic truth and really get in tune with who they are versus living in the ego and being very, disconnected. But yeah, it makes you sick. You can, you gotta choose God in your full essence and become. And that's going to be the most powerful thing. So, yeah, catalysts, these will definitely catalyze where maybe we haven't empowered ourselves to become who we really want to be. And so, really recognize like when that, be thankful for the triggers, be thankful for the triggers so you can like realize what conflict is happening, because growth can happen through conflict. And it's not because, you're looking for a fight or anything. But if you can't people please or be too passive and just shove it off. Like the time is now. You really have to like, because if you push it off to later, it never happens. The time is now for you to really recognize the trigger to stand up for yourself and, just say, well, what if I didn't want to do that? That isn't lame. Okay, you think it's lame? I don't think it's lame. I'm going to go do that. So kind of something like that, so you can not hold on to your own fears or their fears and release it. So yeah, we're bringing more of our authentic self online with this, and letting go of any people's pleasing anyways. We've been betraying ourselves and not listening to our full, soul, because all this water, it's like full steam ahead with what you truly care about, what feels good internally. And that's that's what we need to go towards. And yeah, just a big part of this is knowing what to let go of. And we don't have to know what's next completely, but we like something like we don't need to know what's next. It'll appear as we go. You make room for the new and the new comes in. And you'll see this like time and time again. And you can start out small, but that's a big part of manifestation too. It's letting go so the new can come in. Um, but yeah, recognize like the more you evolve in relationships, and you can evolve in the same relationship, but you can evolve into higher dynamics, higher ways of unconditional love, more compassion. But you have to talk about the things that you need to talk about, and you need to fully let yourself be embodied and not sacrifice for, the other person. Stay this, both of you can't stay the same, and that wouldn't be healthy for either of you. We're all constantly growing and evolving in life, and you got to let yourself do that because you're either growing or dying. Okay, so yeah, let's go through all the signs. And I guess one more manifestation technique, I do like kind of, air and fire things. So, listening to music, listening to frequencies, get in a high vibe. Also, yeah, journaling, and then also like writing things down and then burning it, and then, or, just writing things. or even just like candle work, staring into the flame. With all this water, it's nice to kind of visualize like in the bath and set, a candle so you can kind of, yeah, kind of flame gaze or just like have the masculine kind of fire like presence. Okay, so whatever feels good. I mean, there's no right way or wrong way to do manifestations, just as long as you're connecting to that energy. And yeah, okay, so Libra, this full moon is all about you, yourself, your identity, your appearance, how you're showing up in the world, and how you've been showing up when it comes to relationships. You might deal with some triggers when it comes to a certain relationship. You might be dealing with just other people's wounds, other people kind of coming to you with their wounds, and you might deal with some projection um, from people, but it's important to realize like you don't want to people please. You need to find how you need to step into that most empowered version of you. You need to find more balance for you. And if there's certain relationships that have been too chaotic, that have been just not working out for you, then this would be the time to either kind of let it go, evolve the dynamic in some way, have those conversations. But you're really finding, when it comes to routines and structures, this Venus retrograde affected you in some way. Like there might be some certain ways that you want to improve your health, your diet, your routines, your exercise, prioritizing work that you really love, prioritizing your own flow. That you can really commit to. So you can step in, so you can be that highest version of yourself. Because when you want to be that highest version of yourself, you need healthy routines, you need a healthy life and lifestyle. So this is a great time to kind of commit to something like that. And don't take any more bullshit from anybody. You got to like really stand up. And yeah, especially when it comes to your long-term direction, um, don't listen to anybody else's wounds, ego wounds. Um, you got to choose, you want to choose your direction when it comes to your work and your long-term goals and your long-term vision. Don't let any friends say, oh, that's stupid. Oh, you can't do that just because they don't think they can do it. If you think you can do it, you can do it. So let's see. Yeah, it looks like, there's been somebody that has been giving you anxiety. Um, and maybe it's been firing you up a little bit, but you've avoided the conversation. And it's really like they're just dealing with their own wounds and their own anxiety, on their side, and they're kind of ignoring their heart. When you speak to somebody that has an open heart, they're not going to ask you to take on any of their baggage. They're going to leave their heart open. They're going to tell you when they're upset. They're going to let their emotions flow, and they're going to, just like be their authentic self. So recognize this person that might like be giving you anxiety and might be triggering you because they're not listening to their own heart. Um, so there is heartbreak. The block is heartbreak when it comes to this person. Um, Heartbreak because in between you guys, it's like there was wasted time, there was wasted energy. It seems like both of you felt like you put time and energy into this situation, but it, didn't go anywhere. Nothing really played out. And yeah, you're feeling like a lack of passion from this. I mean, you're going to get your passion back when Venus goes direct, at least, so you can commit to something. I'm majorly ruled by Venus too, and oh my God, I've been so lazy these past couple of days. I'm so ready for it to go direct. Yeah, so more messages from your person. Yeah, you're not releasing. There's definitely something you need to release, let go, walk away from. And yeah, they're like facing some sort of finality. It did come out reverse. So farewells leave behind closure. There might be some lack of closure on their side. And releasing reverse came out on your side. So letting go, moving on, walking away. maybe you can't feel like you can't walk away from this. Let's see. What are their feelings? I should have fought for you. You deserve better than them. And you're always on my mind. Okay, so any more advice for Libra? Let's see. Yeah, I think, something is going to be made clear to you. And, maybe it was something that you, might have prejudged on. Judgment came out released. So recognize like what judgments can you release, or what was maybe called too soon, or maybe their judgments you don't need to take on, if it's any sort of projections or judgments that they were putting on you, release that shit. Who cares? Like who cares? It's not for you because you're getting connected to your 10 of Cups. Um, Ten of Cups is all about happy family, happy environment, total fulfillment. Because you get this soulful fulfillment first, this magical, soul connection stream that you get from soulmate connections. That's why you feel so excited when you meet a soulmate, because, they're literally giving you a piece of your energy back so you can become a better manifester. And yeah, it kind of, you want to open up to the world, and whatever connection is going to kind of give you this full like stream of abundance, because partnerships do bring out the strongest abundance. It's like the mask energetically, chakra wise. Yeah, there's so many esoteric reasons with like energy and relationships, and how it does lead to more abundance. And that's why like I don't like the world's like right now with situationships, because it is kind of demeaning to human relationships and in general, when like they do so much more energetically. And if people were aware of what happens energetically, like, in connections in general, we wouldn't be so lighthearted with it. We would kind of take it a little bit more seriously. So really, the advice is you focus on your 10 of Cups, and, that relationship that you can visualize with, that you can really connect with on that soulful level. Um, you want to focus on that beautiful life that you really want to create, because it can happen, and you can attract in that higher connection to, manifest this with you. But you have to release any heartache, and it can be heartache from this relationship. It can be heartache from past relationships, but you got to release the heartache. So, and, have more just love and compassion and forgiveness in general, so you can keep your heart open and keep those higher connections coming in that will be best for your highest growth and evolution. So yeah, you know, all right. Thank you, Libra. Hi, Scorpio. So this is happening in your 12th house. So this has to do with the past in a big way. This has to do with past relationships from our childhood and maybe past lives. Maybe you're having crazy dreams right now. And, information could be coming to light too. This Venus retrograde, ruling your 12th house, it could have brought some sort of information that you didn't know before, to light when it comes to a certain relationship. But now, with that being removed, or with you releasing the past and really healing, and maybe releasing any subconscious blocks when it comes to relationships, or where, you did have a blind spot, you can have more awareness with what you want now moving forward. Um, and maybe it's even like a deep relationship from the past that, you set up a routine and a schedule around, what they preferred versus what you actually prefer. Because you're getting empowered with the sixth house, with setting your own routine, your own structure, your own schedule, your own daily life and health. What works for you personally, not what works for this other person. So you can find a nice balance in, if you live with somebody, maybe speak up and find a way that, the chores can be handled in a better way. With Venus that's retrograde in your fifth house, though, you've been really focusing on love and how you can evolve in love. Like, really, maybe you figured out a lot when it comes to the past and, serious relationships from the past and how that could have blocked you off with love. But you are clear now with how you want to move forward in love. It looks like for you need to communicate something, and maybe this is something you kind of kept to yourself. With them, there it looks like your person's just kind of confused, kind of in their mind, not really knowing, how to proceed. And in between you, it looks like you're both waiting for the other person to take action. And since nobody's taking action, it just, isn't going anywhere. And it's kind of just creating a burden. But what's causing this like inaction on both sides is literally just either past beliefs about relationships, certain beliefs about relationships, or somebody's, has too much baggage, somebody's carrying other people's baggage, and it's stopping the progress. So maybe somebody can't, really pursue this relationship because they, have other people's like too much stuff to deal with. And yeah, I think both of you guys could have just held back if you can have those deeper conversations right now, that would bring a lot of healing and a lot of growth and make you feel more empowered to kind of pursue what you want to pursue, especially with Jupiter in the eighth house. You're going to have a lot of luck going deep in relationships. Yeah, it looks like you're releasing commitment came out reverse. So marriage promises, fidelity, maybe, you're facing ways that you were, cheated on in the past. Maybe you have commitment issues in general. And on their side, charming, um, graceful, kind-hearted came out. So they think you're beautiful, charming, graceful, handsome, beautiful. They love your energy. Anything else Scorpio needs to know? It is good to talk about those commitment issues. Mm. Messages from Scorpio's person. That's what I meant to say. Okay. And then I'll look into the outcome of this. I ran because I wasn't ready for you. And this could be a past relationship that maybe the commitment thing was for. I'm in love with you. Yeah, it seems like they are. They're just like confused. I'm sorry I hurt you. I didn't realize what I had until I was gone, and they will never compare to you. Okay, so what is the outcome moving forward of this situation? This might be too many. I don't know if I'll just do this for your sign, but let's see. Yes, communication coming through, more of a balance coming through. No, I should have done this for Libra. Sorry, Libra. More of a balance coming through, and where, it seemed like somebody was walking away out of, I don't know, they weren't really walking away. There just needed to be more balance, especially when it comes to money and other obligations. And yeah, it's all about communication, all about you guys getting on the same page so you can manifest more of what you want. But there needs to be patience. Temperance came out, a lot of patience, a lot of just balancing out the material and the physical. And yeah, moving forward at a slow, steady pace. You know, with this North Node in the fifth house, realize that slow love is better. Fast things could be evil. So, I mean, hopefully not, but you don't want it to move too fast. You want it to be slow and steady and, you know, at a really good, solid pace. All right. Thank you, Scorpio. Hi, Sagittarius. Okay, so this is all about your hopes and your dreams and your groups and your networks and your connections. And yeah, kind of the bigger picture. Where do you want to go with that bigger vision and that bigger picture? And what's aligned with you? Because with the sun and Chiron in the fifth house, you're really healing old wounds when it comes to relationships. You can have those deeper conversations in your relationships, especially with Mars squaring, you know, the sun and the moon, like triggers, deep triggers could be coming up for you in general. And, you know, you can be honest and have those deeper conversations with where you actually want to go, you know, what's really aligning with you. And, you know, maybe you got to let go of some friends that don't really see your vision or, you know, just like prioritize like what you really want, what you're passionate about. Um, yeah, and your needs, you know, maybe you want more romance and maybe you do want more depth in a connection. Maybe you do want more excitement. This is a good time to have all those conversations in your relationship because you're evolving in love in a big way. And, you know, we all have hopes and dreams and everything. And sometimes it's good to kind of let go of certain hopes and dreams and, you know, get really aligned. So this is definitely a major manifesting moon for you where you can connect to a bigger picture and manifest that bigger dream that you want after you've gone through this Mars retrograde in the eighth house. Maybe you've cleared out a lot of just fears and anxieties and debts and just what's not really fitting for you anymore. So it looks really good. This is a really fun moon for you. It looks like you're ready to kind of jump into a whole new, you know, life, a whole new adventure. You're ready to jump into this relationship. And on the other side, the High Priestess came out. So it looks like there's a major pull to this connection. It looks like there's kind of a knowing with this connection. And yeah, between you, it looks like there's communication. I guess there can be more communication, more alignment. You know, you're really lucky in love right now. So really manifest, get in alignment when it comes to talking about exactly what you want. Transparency is key. So you really want to talk about like if you want kids, you got to talk about kids. If you want you know, just put it all out there, really. So for you, time came out. So waiting cycles, moments. So you might have to have a little bit of passion or patience when it comes to manifesting more of what you want. But definitely follow your passion. And then chasing reverse came out on the high priestess side, on your person's side. So chasing, pursuit, toxicity, resilience. Your person's not chasing. So I think it's up to you to kind of communicate exactly what you want out of this situation. And it looks like whatever relationship is coming into your life since Jupiter rules, you know, all this stuff going on in your fourth house with what you're internally feeling, you can definitely get somebody into your life that you know, wants to manifest like, you know, from that core place that you really want and bring in a lot of stability for you too. So let's see, messages from your person. I can't let you go. And I keep hoping to bump into you everywhere I go. And I knew you were the one when I met you. So yeah, definitely a magical, strong soul connection is coming into your life if they're not in your life now. And you can definitely manifest the world with them. Um, whoa, the world literally just flew out like all over the place. The world came out Aquarius, Scorpio, Leo, Taurus. Um, look out for those. I was just thinking, I've been, talking to so many people. They're like, Tauruses are so stubborn. We are. So I don't know. I don't know what to say. Um, I have so much Taurus. So, um, but yeah, so it's really, really nice. This looks really magical. The only thing you need to do, yep, is talk about exactly what you want. Have those deeper conversations. Queen of Cups came out reversed. So there might be some sort of lack of emotional, deeper conversation that needs to happen here. Or you really need to get in touch with, like, kind of go into the unknown with your deep internal core and be really deeply, truly honest with yourself with what you want out of the relationships. Because there's something being ignored when it comes to these really deep emotions that can release more compassion, more empathy. But yeah, the conversation needs to happen. So don't wait for the conversation from your person. It's like you can make magic happen and you can make your biggest dreams happen. But if you want somebody on your side with that, then you really have to communicate and you're the one making magic happen. So you have to like voice whatever you want out into the world. And yeah, there might be some sort of, Queen of Cups that you have to make sure you're following your own heart, with what you really want instead of maybe a water sign's heart that, you know, or a water sign that you're not really connecting with that doesn't have the same vision. And the King of Swords came out reversed. So I didn't even see this. Yeah, it's not time to be logical. It's time to really get into that intuitive flow to make magic happen. Listen to the heart. And the heart kind of knows better right now with where to go when it comes to your manifestations. And yeah, don't expect to please everybody with the full moon happening in your 11th house. Not everyone's going to agree with your vision, but you're connecting with your own heart and what you're passionate about to go in the right direction for you. All right. Thank you, Sagittarius. Hi, Capricorn. So this is happening in your 10th house. So this has to do with your career and your reputation, your public image, who you are out in the world. And you might have been going through kind of a, review and reflection with that because Venus, which rules your 10th house, has been retrograde conjuncting Saturn. You're making serious decisions when it comes to your career and your long-term goals. And they're going to be good decisions. You're aligned now. Mentally, you're really getting aligned. You're finding your flow in your everyday life. Maybe you declutter things. Maybe reworked your schedule in some way. But whatever changes that you're going to make moving forward with Venus going direct, it's going to make you show up out in the world in a way better way and kind of just be more in alignment with yourself and your abundance. And yeah, maybe it has to do with a creative project. You could be healing major wounds, with should I put this creative project out? What will people think? Healing old wounds when it comes to home and family and foundation, maybe not caring as much about what, home and family says, what family members say, or what your partner would say. Like, what do you really want to do? Maybe it's time to put your creative project out there. Maybe it's time to be a entrepreneur. This could also actually be a really good time that you randomly meet somebody, either on an online app, on social media, out in the community. And yeah, so that looks good. But it looks like you might be dealing with somebody that has anxiety. And it looks like you're kind of blocked off in some way. Yeah, so in between you, it's like there's assumed unhappiness. Mars has been in your seventh for a while. It's coming out of there. But wow, yeah, congratulations. You're getting through that. That's almost done. But that has brought a lot of aggravation when it comes to certain relationships. So this could be romantic, this could be clients, this could be business, family members, whoever, whatever one-on-one relationship could have been a little frustrating since the fall. So, on and off. But yeah. So it looks like you're in protective mode. You're staying in your bubble. You're kind of staying with your beliefs and, just make sure you're not keeping yourself too protective. And it looks like your person, kind of has a broken heart. Um, they're not listening to their heart. They have a lot of anxiety because, yeah, they're not following their heart in any way. So they're not aligned themselves. But there is definitely a soul connection here. Um, so with you locked off, Seven of Wands, you're in your bubble. You're like, no nonsense. I'm staying in here. I'm not gonna cling. Clinging out came out reverse. So holding on, obsessing, spying. They might be spying on you too. Or you on them. You're spying on them. And on their side, it looks like they're avoiding an awakening, turmoil, trouble, unexpected, something shocking. It looks like something shocking almost is like trying to come out to kind of shake them out of this like anxiety. And, maybe they're not listening, but they need to kind of listen to their anxiety and realize like where that's directing them. Because when we don't listen to our heart, we get anxiety also. Um, and in between you, just happiness came out reversed, the sun reversed, and Six of Cups. So there's a recognition of this soul connection that feels like home, that feels, safe and everything. But there's a need to get realigned in love. So what's the outcome of this situation? And then I'll do messages from your person. Yeah, there's a way vulnerability needs to happen. Okay. Maybe for some of you, this connection started out like really fast and passionate and just like hot. But there's a need to kind of go back and kind of like slow things down a bit because there's a way you can get aligned with a higher manifestation of this connection, but it's going to require some vulnerability, some sort of getting to the deeper issues, heart opening, letting the pride down on both sides. It seems like because they have pride, they're anxious and you're blocked off, possibly because pride and ego. Um, but I think, if you came back together and had those deeper heartfelt conversations and kind of cracked each other open, there's a new way to really align. You know, Chariot came out reversed, so you guys like can work together, but if you guys both have to come together to work together and you have to listen to both of your manifestations and see if they align moving forward. But it looks like this can, move forward, if you guys get aligned, with what you both want, what's for the highest good of all. Either way, this is a really strong, soulful connection that you can kind of go back to and evolve in love. And it looks like it could shock them out of it. And it looks like, either way, like you guys are being pulled towards each other. With this obsessive energy. That's what happens when you have a soulmate connection. Like your soul's pulling you towards this love, and nobody knows. I mean, yeah, it's very confusing when that happens because, you're like, why won't this person leave my brain? And it's happening on both sides. If you're constantly thinking of them, they're constantly thinking of you. It's you guys pulling on each other's energy. So, messages from your person, you tame my demons. That's probably what makes them anxious because, they would have to grow and evolve out of their demons. I'm in love with you and I want to make things right. Okay, so thank you, Capricorn. It looks like things can be made right here. The fire's about to leave the seventh house, so when you go back and, talk, it won't be as aggressive, and maybe you can be on the right place, moving forward with better communication, clear, communication, more of a commitment with what you do want or what you both want moving forward, with an evolved love story too. But it requires opening the heart, and that requires, some vulnerability, not repressing yourself anyway, being, really authentic to yourself in the core of who you are. So you can, yeah, be who you are, like, fully when you first came here, before all the wounds like happened, so the more that you can kind of get into your full authenticity, the more you're going to attract in this really strong soulmate connection, that's really right for you, that you can build the star with, that is like, just strong mind, body, spirit, and that will turbocharge with you towards your hopes and dreams and wishes. All right, thank you, Capricorn. Hi, Aquarius. So this is happening in your ninth house. So there can be a release with what you thought about relationships, when it comes to your beliefs. And if you release any negative beliefs when it comes to relationships, you can evolve into, a higher love. And, with Chiron and the sun, in the third house, you can find a way to communicate in a very authentic way that's more from your heart. That's more just, it is what it is, and not like overthinking it, not trying to keep the balance with what the world, taught you how relationships should be. Like, really connect on that authentic level, and with that, vulnerability in mind. And, maybe you have been just too busy with work and everything, and frustrations with Mars that has been, retrograde in the sixth. But you can really, really talk, and, um, with this Venus retrograde that happened in your second house, you really know what you want to commit your time and energy to when it comes to what you value. So what you value, now what you value in relationships, what you want to commit to, what relationships you want to commit to, where you need to have maybe some more conversations, and yeah, let's see what's going on. So in between you, it looks like there's a lot of love. And it looks like you are ready to kind of extend your cup in some way, like you're ready to kind of reach out with some love. Um, the moon came out for them. So they're either keeping some emotions hidden, but they're feeling this pull at the same time. They don't know if you're like really on the same page, because it kind of seems like there's just a little bit of a disconnect in some way. But yeah, so in between you, it's like you need to get aligned with the long term and how you emotionally feel about things for the long term. Um, and the Queen of Cups came out also in between you. So this connection opens your guys' heart. And it's kind of making you guys want to communicate in a more heartfelt way and with what you really want for the long term. Um, so on your side, finality came out. There's some sort of finality, farewell, leave behind, closure. You might need some closure from this relationship. Maybe you did try to leave, but you can't leave it. Makes sense because there's this pull, like energetic pull towards this connection. Um, let's see. Oop, two came out for them. Escaping and only you came out on their side. So yeah, it looks like you're feeling, drawn towards this connection. You might want to reach out, give them a heartfelt message, because there's some sort of finality, maybe for some of you, if you did try to leave this connection. You can't let it go. You can't move on from it. Um, and also, this is maybe you clearing out some sort of relationships from the past, so you can get aligned in this higher connection in a better way. And on their side, yeah, they're feeling this strong pull towards this. The moon came out. They might be keeping all their emotions to themselves though, because yeah, see, you guys are on different parts of the bank, just kind of, but you feel this energetic like connection. This is a very watery connection. Queen of Cups came out. What's blocking it is the Ten of Cups. Like, yeah, just there's a need to emotionally communicate about what you guys want for the long term, really heart to heart. What is the outcome of this? What is the outcome? Oh yeah, and escaping, like escape came out. Maybe they tried to escape this, but they couldn't. Avoiding, blocking, pushing away. Yeah, they tend to keep their own emotions all within themselves. And only you, devoted, attached, crave, and they're trying to maybe stay detached. It seems like this person is has the detached type of attachment and doesn't want to feel like so emotionally drawn towards this. And it looks like that, there's like a lack of commitment issues. You guys don't know how to commit moving forward, what to commit to. But there's can be some conversations about how to move forward, really. Like who wants to commit to what? Um, does somebody need to spend a little bit more time with work? Yeah, it looks like a whole new chapter can start. There might be a need to release some sort of traditions too. With Venus retrograde that rules your fourth house and the ninth house, there might be some deep traditional family beliefs that you can kind of release that might be some sort of outdated. And maybe that's on their side too. But there's some sort of like awakening that's happening here, the tower, some sort of breakthrough that's going to happen in between you. And it's like, okay, like this can lead to a whole new chapter, a whole new breakthrough in love, a higher timeline, working more so from your higher heart, with those, that right communication and everything versus staying too stuck in old patterns and trying to, detach and not really get to what you both are really feeling and what you both truly want. So what does your messages from your person? Any more messages from your person? I want to kiss you. Yeah, lots of emotions here on both sides, all around, lots of water, soul connection for sure. I'm scared you will reject me, and I have been working on myself. Yeah, because I was going to say, sometimes with the moon, somebody can be a little escapism, have escapism tendencies. And, maybe they've faced some of that with, instead of listening to their soul and those soulful urges, they've been listening to the ego and trying to escape. But when you do that, you usually have more addictive tendencies and all of those self-sabotaging patterns. So when they come back, they can show up in a more authentic way if you guys kind of connect on that soulful level. All right. Thank you so much, Aquarius. Hi, Pisces. Okay, so this is happening in your eighth house, which is a deeper house. You deal with those deeper human conversations when it comes to the eighth house because it rules death, taxes, intimacy, how you merge in relationships, but also your deeper fears and shame, guilt, any of those emotions that you can kind of release, like any ways that you have been maybe projected on from other people that, isn't like stopped you from doing things, but it actually has nothing to do with you and nothing with, you know, to do with how you relate to yourself or to anybody else. So this can be a deep, like healing moment that can also heal, some sort of self-worth issue. With Chiron that's been in your second house, there could be like you facing issues with your self-worth and your value of yourself, but also healing what you truly value, like recognizing what you value instead of what others value. and how you can be really empowered with that. But also healing money wounds, anyways, this would be a great moon to kind of heal any wounds when it comes to money and finances. And yeah, Venus retrograde, been retrograde in your first house. So you've been really recognizing what you value now and how you can, step into that highest version of yourself, what you want to manifest, what you want to commit to in life. And, some illusions could have been like some veils could have totally been lifted. So you kind of know more of what you want when it comes to relationships and how you communicate in relationships and how you want to merge in relationships, and just be way more firm with that. Because I love, Venus retrograde, when Venus goes direct, it's like hardened. It's like, this is what I value now. This is what I'm manifesting. This is the relationships I want. This is how I'm stepping into that highest version of myself. It's okay to get a makeover now. It was not with, Venus retrograde, obviously. But now with Venus exalted in Pisces in your first house, like, be a little careful, I guess, with the North Node, maybe, because that can be a little extreme. But, and maybe just wait. You could even just wait till Venus is in Taurus. But like I would say right when it goes direct, it could be good, for makeovers. It depends what you're doing too. Like if you don't want your hair like super like, extreme in any way, if you just want the regular stuff, I would say avoid the North Node. If you want if you want something to last a long time, then I'm like a pro at beauty astrology consultation stuff, and what you can do, like when to get things done, basically. Like I use it for my hair always, and I will not get my hair cut on a bad day because, it energetically like just stays that way for that entire like haircut until you like get it cut again on a good day. And yeah, don't mess with that. Anyway, yeah, look at Emrata. So Emrata got her haircut with Venus and Aries during this Venus retrograde. Nope. It does not matter who you go to. It always gets butchered. So anyway, you can do the beauty things, you can do the aesthetic things moving forward after doing this, deep healing and realizing what you truly desire, when it comes to relationships and life and what you really want to go after. Um, and yeah, release a lot of anxieties when it comes to money. So it seems like you and your person weren't seeing eye to eye in some way. Um, it looks like they're releasing anxieties, they're working on it though. It's so funny. This has come out so much for the other person with so many signs. But you're like, okay, it looks like they're anxious. You didn't even know they were anxious because they were hiding it, but now they're releasing the anxiety about whatever it, was giving them anxiety when it comes to this connection. And it might have to do with something like, you know, um, they thought they were wasting their time and their energy, or you thought they were wasting their time or energy. It's really just finding more time and where you guys want to plant things and where you guys want to move things moving forward. Um, yeah, you might be have been facing some sort of rejection from the past and acting or just thinking that you were rejected. But so rejection came out reversed on your side. Abandoned, dismissed, irrational fear. You're releasing a lot of irrational fears that you didn't even know were there. So those are coming to the surface. So those can be released. And it looks like same on your person side, like just a lot of the subconscious is um, being brought up to the surface. What was hidden, what needed to be brought up. And yeah, they were just stressed. Virgo, they're really going through it. Your relationship ruler, like they're drained right now. They don't know how to go with the flow in general. You're teaching them how to go with the flow. So yeah, they're dealing with emotional turbulence tension and arguments, and kind of maybe they avoided some arguments. And it looks like there was probably just a misunderstanding in between you guys. So what's happening in the future? What's the outcome of this situation? Yeah, communication from the heart is going to happen. Like where there was a mischance, miss opportunity to really talk about things, you're coming back to that to make magic happen. And it literally does just have to do with you guys talking from the heart. King of Cups here. There's an energetic pull with this connection. This does look like a soulmate connection. And somebody just wanted more stability, more security. So it's important if that's you, it's you really got to talk it out and everything. But yeah, you guys can make magic happen. The magician came out. Make the world happen, make magic happen, and but it's all about just getting on that same page with what you want materially, what you want to commit to for the long term, and you being aligned fully with your heart and your emotions. So whatever misunderstanding happened before doesn't need, and really direct. Oh crap. Okay. Is the mic back? All right. Thank you, Pisces. Hi, Aries. So this is all about your relationships, your serious, committed relationships. And this could be clients, this could be friendships, this could be family members. Any serious one-on-one relationship that you're dealing with is what's being brought up right now. But also this could be marketing strategies, like how you outreach to your clients. And maybe there's a way you want to change things with that. Because you're healing wounds when it comes to yourself and your identity and fully stepping up into yourself and into your power, and you have a way more fiery, optimistic lens with Neptune here, as long as you have the right beliefs. Really connect to that higher magical beliefs that you can make anything happen and that you are a manifestation god or goddess and you can make it happen. Um, so finding a nice balance in between you and the other people and what dynamics need to be set moving forward. And there might have just been a lot like uncovered to yourself with this Venus retrograde that happened in your 12th house when it comes to relationships in the past. And you could be having really wild dreams, really like releasing a ton when it comes to past lives. And you don't even realize that it is past lives and everything, and probably connecting to all sorts of different dimensions and everything. But it could be also, just the past when it comes to your childhood too, and fears and what you can release about that. Because maybe recognizing like, oh, I learned how to do this or to live, do relationships this way from my parents, and maybe that wasn't the most healthy dynamic, or maybe there's some sort of fear that came up. Maybe there's something that was just revealed when it comes to a certain relationship in your life, and you realize there was some sort of imbalance there, and something that you didn't perceive before, where there can be more clarity moving forward, or how you want to move forward now. Because the 12th house does reveal, kind of what's been hidden from you. You can't see the 12th house. So stuff's coming to light. And on their side, it looks like Four of Cups came out, so they're upset about something. There was a chance for them to kind of look on the bright side of things, but they didn't. And on your side, you're maybe a little impatient, feeling a lack of balance. There was a lack of balance between the material and the physical, spiritual and the material. Or just a need to be a little bit more patient. And on your side, clinging, holding on, obsessing, spying. This is a soulmate connection because the Four of Wands came out too. So this could be a twin flame connection. This could be a counterpart, higher level soulmate connection, kingdom spouse. And all the block here is the Knight of Swords for Knight of Swords. So yeah, you need to find more balance, even if you were obsessing about this person, always bring the energy back to yourself. That's where you're going to be the most powerful. And when it comes to soulmate relationships, you do have to be patient to make sure that it's going to be the right one for you. Don't jump into it too fast. Even, if it's a twin flame, you got to make sure it's like balanced in the 3D too, and that you guys are on the same frequency. And it's rare when twin flames get together. You might want to do a soulmate relationship because it's easier. Um, and on their side, they're getting some sort of perspective. They need a perspective shift. Better off, happiness, clear headspace. They might think you're better off. It seems like they've been in a funk or depressed and looking at all the things that could go wrong instead of what could possibly go right. So they need to go through a perspective shift because in between you, it's like you guys didn't see um, how you can move forward in a way more solid way when it comes to happiness, marriage, community, building a home together, all of that. But it literally just, needs some conversations. Somebody needed to talk to somebody. Somebody needed to send somebody a message and clear things up. And then that could possibly bring this perspective shift. But it's something, maybe that you just aren't really clear about since, Venus has been in your 12th house, but you will get more clarity when Venus, makes its way out of the underworld and back into your first house. And then you can be more powerful with like where you're going with your hopes and dreams and the right relationships and everything. And yeah, maybe clear things up. So just know that don't blow out of proportion if there's too much like just heaviness or confusion. Things will kind of clear up in the upcoming weeks, especially when Mercury's like out of your 12th house too. And then you can really commit and decide, with this bigger fated soulful direction with where you're actually going. Um, because all of this happening in your 12th house, it's like maybe things just seem, just there's a mental fog there. You're just not seeing where things can move forward. There's a heavier issue that can actually be released and walked away from. Yeah. So what's the outcome of this situation? So moving on, Six of Swords came out. Moving on from disappointments and being able to look on the bright side. Okay, yeah, with more compassion and love. If you have these conversations with a wide open heart, with just compassion and love and healing of the past and more of that unconditional love when it comes to relationships, then you can easily move on from any of the drama, any of the, toxic patterns, whatever this person was bummed about because it looks like you're really facing this issue, whatever they were bummed about. So you can look on the bright side and move on from it into a brighter horizon. All right. Thank you, Aries. Hi, Taurus. Okay, so this is happening in your sixth house, which is your daily life, your work, your routines, and there's a way that you can make this all better so you can kind of step into that highest version of yourself that wants to go after your hopes and dreams and wishes for the future because this Venus retrograde rules you and you can really commit to your long-term dreams and your bigger, hopes and desires and the right people, the right relationships. Maybe, you've cut some relationships out of your life so you can focus on the ones that are big dreamers, that are pumping you up, that want to manifest with you, that see that bigger vision. And yeah, it looks like you're just getting in alignment with that. There might have been some ways that you were out of alignment. We're constantly evolving out of old patterns and habits that don't really serve us. Um, so yeah, you can move forward in a better way. Um, so yeah. Okay. So you and your person, Let's see. Oh yeah, and square Mars, like there might be a way you can really communicate and find the right community that's really, there for you. But yeah, you're moving forward. It looks like Empress came out reversed on your side. Maybe you didn't like feel very valued in a certain relationship. This you guys like couldn't really move forward, with there was Mars retrograde first and then you went retrograde. But now both are moving forward and both are trining. So it looks like you and your partner can kind of be on the same page now. There was a power struggle, there was delays, there was frustrations and everything, but now you can really commit to like a bigger vision that you both see and be excited about it. And maybe it's something with the 11th house, you're breaking out of the box in some way. You're looking at just higher dreams and kind of like the unimaginable with like where you can go and what you can manifest. And it's important to put yourself first. The Empress came out reversed, so you want to make sure you're in that divine feminine energy, that you're connecting to that sacred feminine and you're not repressing yourself in any way. You're really tuning into your emotions and having those conversations in your relationship because you can easily have those conversations with Mars trine Mercury in the North Node and really get settled with where you both want to go for the long term. This can be very magical. Queen of Wands came out on their side, so they want that spark, they want that fire from you. They want and to blaze this new trail actually, because the Queen of Wands is the energy that just likes to go towards the new, not like follow the inspiration, don't really have a full plan, just have it, go step by step by step, be really excited about it. And it looks like on your side, influences came out. So attachments, third parties, peers, maybe somebody, friends or just whatever was influencing this connection. And it stopped you from truly listening to yourself and what you want with the Empress reversed. It's time to get into your inner knowing with your intuition because the Empress is very intuitive, listening to your inner heart in your soul with what you know is right for you specifically and not what's right for anybody else. And it looks like, they're dealing with some mistakes. Maybe it was their mistakes, misunderstood, victim, lost soul. So there might be a way that they were kind of reacting in a certain way because they felt misunderstood, like they want to be understood. But you can get aligned and release this power struggle going on because there was a power struggle in the past, but the only problem, what this is the block is like you both speaking from your heart and talking about what you truly deeply want at that soulful level and freeing your heart by just saying it, and that can kind of get you on the same page and get you guys working together instead of where there was so many disruptions from the, earlier. Okay. So what's the outcome? More balance. Yes. Temperance came out. So more balance. Just be really patient with moving forward, but things can move forward in a way healthier direction. Um, and yeah, slow, steady consistency. Nine of Pentacles came out. So like take it slow, take it steady. Don't like light the fire. There's some deeper emotions that need to be talked about. The moon came out reversed. So you guys are both feeling this unconscious pull towards each other, but at the same time, you want to make sure like you guys are releasing any old wounds when it comes to relationships. With Chiron and the sun in your 12th, you could definitely be facing the deep past and even past lives with where you were hurt or burned at the stake by your current soulmate. Like your current, if it's a strong soulmate connection, like you could have been burnt at the stake by them at the past, but now they're coming back to be your lover, but now you can actually be lovers and now you're healing that stuff. Or I don't know. I'm kind of like repeating that meme or whatever that I see all the time. But that can create, conflict in this current life, obviously, and deeper triggers that you don't even like know where they're from. So maybe you're, releasing like any of those wounds from the past when it comes to relationships and really speaking out, and being bold with speaking out with what you truly authentically want. And let's see. Any more messages from your person? Let's see. But also getting in touch with your higher self and speaking from that higher self place in that authentic way. I need to work on myself. I'm trying to clear my head. Messages from your person. You're always on my mind. Yep, this does seem like a high level soulmate connection, twin flame connection, possibly. I keep hoping to bump into you everywhere I go. So yeah, it seems like both of you were just maybe on different pages. Like the Queen of Wands and the Empress are very like different in general. And gender doesn't matter. But the Queen of Wands wants things her way, wants to charge forward in that certain direction. And you have this deep soulful knowing with how you want things to be. And you can find a balance moving forward. Both of you need to speak from the heart, let it all out. Don't keep anything hidden. Don't deal with their bullshit if they need to work on themselves a little bit more, since the moon came out reversed and this, lost soul victim came out. You need to stay strong and not cave, and you can't release any of your boundaries with what you truly want and what you truly deserve. Stay in your divine feminine energy and protect yourself first. Give them the challenge. It looks like they want the challenge to kind of show up in the right way, to really listen to that soulful calling and that pull that they really have. But they have to acknowledge it themselves. Like you can't acknowledge that for them. So let them bare their heart to you when they come towards you at the right time. And the more that you focus on you and your feminine energy, you become more magnetic. Listen to yourself and, if they're dealing with attachment issues or whatever that they need to release, let them do it. You just mind your business, and know that all good things take time. When it comes to your hopes and dreams and wishes right now, you don't want it to happen fast. You want it to take time. The North Node astrology says like good things happen, good things take time, evil things can come in fast. So just beware, have a plan, have a structure, let it slowly build instead of something that could sound too good to be true. All right, thank you, Taurus. Hi, Gemini. This is a really good one for you. The moon's supposed to be in Libra, obviously. This is highlighting your what's fun to you. What are you passionate about? This is your self-expression, your creativity. What do you spend your time and energy on? What do you spend your creative energy on? And it's important that it's in alignment with your hopes and your dreams. You can manifest like crazy now when it comes to your hopes and dreams, and it's really time to spiritually connect with what you really soulfully want. You can heal any of those wounds. Um, when it comes to friendships, like really find people, maybe even with the same core wounds, like by being more of your authentic self when it comes to your friendships, you can attract the right friendships. If you're trying to put on a mask when it comes to friendships with what you think people want, then you're going to attract people that like that mask. Instead, you can get in alignment with what you're truly passionate about. And yeah, maybe you release old ways of having fun that aren't, in alignment with you anymore. And it could be, anything that you've like outgrown, like if you're in your 20s, moving into your 30s, maybe you don't want to go out and drink all the time or something like that. Like you can get in alignment with this bigger picture with what you want to manifest and align your fun and your creative energy with that. This is also a good time to face things when it comes to love, because this has to do with love and romance and having fun in your relationship. You can find that fun and that spark again. But if someone hasn't been communicating with you, maybe it's time to release that connection or really have those talks so you can see if you're aligned moving forward. This Venus retrograde rules your 12th house, so maybe there could have been some just dynamics, when it comes to relationships that you're facing, so you can really get more aligned and have this evolution with love, really open your heart. So you only accept, the higher love that really can come in and really commit to that. With Venus going direct in your 10th house, this is what you want in love. And if it's not that, then I don't want it. You can definitely do that. You can definitely be attracting in love right now, a really strong soulmate connection that you can commit to for the long term. So I love that. And it would be very faded. It would be very, a very faded direction with Venus that's going over the North Node. And maybe it takes a little bit longer, but it is kind of like the perfect relationship. And, soulmates, you kind of just like vibe right off the bat, you know? So yeah, it's important to take your time with it though, I would say, or don't be scared if it is taking a lot of time. So for you, it looks like you're ready to start a whole new chapter. You went through this Mercury retrograde with Venus to, right on Venus's toes. So you really know also what you want in love and where you're moving forward. And so the Fool came out, you're ready for a whole new chapter in this relationship, in love. And you faced, where you were broken, where you were shattered before and brokenhearted and destroyed, and release that hopefully. Because the more that comes to the surface, the more that you deal with that emotional turmoil, the more you can release that, transmute it. Those lessons you're done with, you can attract in that higher love that really wants to come in. And it looks like between you and your person, you just didn't really see each other's point of view in some way. So there was a lack of communication. There was a lack of reciprocity here, an equal give and take. But you guys just weren't talking about it. And, it looks like your person, there was just like a lack of communication. Maybe they didn't know how to talk to you in some way. Mistakes came out on their side, misunderstood, victim, lost soul. So it might be their past mistakes in general or mistakes that they made in this relationship that stopped them from coming forward and communicating, or they think that mistakes from their past, like they might just repeat in love or something. But there is a way to find a new balance kind of moving forward. And there is a strong pull in this connection. The moon came out, so there's a pull and it can't be ignored, but you guys aren't talking about it. You guys aren't kind of getting on the same page when it comes to your emotions. So that's why you're not really seeing eye to eye in this connection. Let me see the outcome of this situation. Outcome, what's the outcome? So lack of communication. I don't know if you're waiting for them to message you. I don't know if they will. Seems like they're kind of going through some sort of hurt. Maybe they're friends in general. Like you could just be dealing with friends that also are just like wounded in general. So they're not reaching out. But yeah, it looks like there can be, like, if you just wait a little bit longer, there can be a clearer way to move forward. I love Venus that will be going into Aries, that will be trining your seventh house. Slow, steady movement forward with having those conversations. But don't expect it to move fast, I guess. Page of Pentacles came out, Knight of Pentacles. If you want to reach out, like you can reach out and it would go faster. But it seems like they're dealing with something and they're going to take a little bit longer to reach out. And it's going to be slow. And they want to move slow in general. Okay. And what are their messages to you? I really do care, even though I don't show it. Yeah, they they don't show it at all. They're keeping all their emotions like to themselves, and there are deep emotions here with this moon. I should have fought for you, and I want to hold you. Yeah, there's a pull here. You guys, there can be an equal balance, equal conversation here, equal give and take here, but there needs to be a slow, steady pace and more communication and more seeing each other's point of view. But you definitely want to move faster than them, but it's going to take just a little bit of time. All right, thank you, Gemini. Hi, Cancer. How's it going? Okay, so this is happening in your fourth house. So you could be moving, you could be maybe wanting to move for work. There's a way you can kind of step out in the world and be more empowered when it comes to your work, your reputation, who you are out in the world. And with Chiron that's been here, maybe you've been getting more shit in general. Maybe, you've been dealing with gossipers since like 2000. 17, but you got to let people just do them and then you step up, into a more powerful version of you every single time. But yeah, you might be releasing stuff when it comes to home, family, foundation. So you could be releasing a bad dynamic that happened when it comes to your childhood, clearing out old resentments, having more compassion when it comes to your family and really healing things. Venus went retrograde in your ninth, so maybe it's changed things up with your beliefs when it comes to home and family and what that should even be or what that should look like. And your friends, maybe switching up your friends, seeing who you're really aligned with, who you want to align with when moving forward when it comes to these bigger visions and goals and what you want to go after. But yeah, there could have been a lot of beliefs that were just dissolved, possibly with relationships and what you thought they should be like. And instead, you're really getting aligned with what you truly want. Um, how you are going to be the most bold in your relationships moving forward. Um, you know, and not creating relationships from any wounds, more so moving forward with relationships um, that recognize your wounds, but are also healing and empowering. Okay, so it looks like the magician came out on your side. Magic, you can make magic happen in this relationship. You want to communicate to them. It looks like they're leaving some sort of heavier emotions in the past. Um, there was conflict before, or other people getting in the way in between you. Um, Mars probably, is leaving your first house. So you've needed to go. You've needed to stand up for yourself. You've needed to say what you need to say, do what you need to do. And maybe that's triggered some wounds when it comes to like standing up with who you are out in the world. But if you can power through it, and it looks like now you can get on the same page. So Knight of Cups came out at least, so this is fixing it. You both have emotions for each other. You both have feelings. It looks like they do want to send a message out to you. Whatever kept them closed off before, it looks like they're moving on from some sort of drama, and this could be the other people. Um, so yeah, you're making your love life, your magical love life happen. The magician came out, so that's like all your magical dreams are coming true when it comes to your love life. All this stuff in Pisces, you need to envision your dream and what you want in your entire life and just hold that vision, and life will respond to that vision. Okay. But it's going to take some time. Just wait for the right time, for the right cycle. Don't push it with the wrong person. Wait for the right moment. But it's the most important thing is getting your energy right and really holding on to that. Um, and yeah, your person. moving on from drama from the past with these people or feeling the need to defend in some way. And it's really opened up their heart. Their heart is opening, or it's more open before, and they're receptive, they're empathetic, they're vulnerable, more vulnerable than maybe where they would have, put up their guard right away or fought. Instead, they're like opening up. Um, that's right, because Saturn rules your seventh house. So Saturn is being, kind of obliterated right now. I mean, it's totally changing. It's totally evolving, totally changing. Saturn's going to be going over the North Node, so there can be a fated relationship that's really serious that comes into your life. Um, And then Saturn's going to be going into Aries pretty soon on top of Neptune. So we're kind of going to see this whole new relationship that's really coming in for you. And that's going to start off this whole new cycle. So you don't really know what's on the other side of the cycle until it happens. And there might be some stuff that comes to the surface and that is being revealed, but the right person for you is going to have an open heart, is going to be ready. They've dealt with all their bullshit and this chaos that they've been going through with Neptune that's been here so close to Saturn. Saturn doesn't like being in Pisces. Saturn going over the North Node, they're being pushed in a fated direction also. So give it time, and when it's time, it's going to be easy. Um, let's see, what's the outcome of this situation? Queen of Cups. Yep, you stay in your knowing, you stay in your heart, you stay in your soul. Magician came out again. Magic is happening. Your magical love life and your magical timeline is unfolding right now. It's going to take you to that, higher Dharma timeline that is just a lot more effortless and flowing, and you get to stand in your power in this whole new chapter, in this whole new era where you can make your dreams happen and nothing else wants to come out. So the Magician and Queen of Cups, Magician came out twice, like literally. You stay in your heart and your soul and your knowing, and that's all you need to do. And hold that vision, make a vision board, don't let your family tell you what is even possible. Everything is possible if you believe it. Um, and yeah, make a vision board, make a Canva, like mind movie, make all the manifestation things. You should be doing it. Because you want to get ready for this energy switch that's going to be coming up. And messages from your person. Manifest like crazy. I'm afraid that I lost you forever. I need to work on myself. I'm trying to clear my head. Yeah, it looks like your person's definitely moving on some from karmic cycles big time. I keep hoping to bump into you everywhere I go. All right, thank you so much, Cancer. Hi, Leo. So let's see what's going on for you. Oh, I love starting it at a random sign. I mean, I love starting it at Libra because, like, mentally, I was like, where are we ending this? And it kind of keeps me going. And I'm like, yes, we're 3 signs away. Oh my God. Okay. And I'm excited for Venus to go direct. And it happens so soon after this. Okay. So, Leo, I get to talk about me during Leo because I'm a Leo rising. So, um, and you guys get it. So, okay, this is happening in your third house. So, whatever you do in your everyday life, this is errands, this is your schedule, this is your routines, this is your neighbors, this is your community, this is online stuff. This is your writing projects. These are just any small projects. This is teaching, learning, just whatever you do in your everyday life. And we all do different weird things in our everyday life. And you're releasing maybe some sort of mentality, some sort of time wasting thing that you do in your everyday life that maybe isn't helping for you to achieve your bigger goals and your bigger manifestations. So this could be just scrolling online on social media, passively, like talking to people like too much, where you need to cut down, like, and spend more stuff time like doing what you really want to do. Instead of people pleasing in any way, it's time to really heal this wound and um, heal this wound by recognizing that bigger vision that you can really manifest. And like you got to just believe that you can manifest it and direct your energy towards it and really be empowered with your beliefs. So if your beliefs aren't matching up with your daily life and whatever, this is also kind of the area of like programming. So whatever like programming, mental thoughts that happen in your everyday life that stop you from manifesting your best life and doing what you really want to do, this is what you can really release now. And the more that you just get empowered with taking action with your bigger goals, then that's what you're doing. And thank God we're getting over this like Mars retrograde in the 12th almost. Oh my God. We're going to be able to, we've had a lot of dwelling in the past, in the subconscious, in our heads, like really just cave mode, hermit mode, cavern mode, just like dealing with all the bullshit. And now we're releasing all of the bullshit and moving forward. As soon as Mars enters Leo, it's demon mode time and we're ready to go. And we're going to have a lot of just willpower and excitement to just be pushed in this giant, like, new direction, this whole new era. I love Neptune and everything that's in the ninth house for Leos because it's literally lighting our spark and all this deep healing and everything that we've really been doing to shed all the layers. We're actually going to be believing in that stuff now. We're going to be embodying like what those bigger, higher beliefs, whatever they are, and make sure they're really high beliefs and they're very empowering because you're just going to be magnetic and walking around and being able to make magic happen a lot easier. And Venus rules your 10th house and your third house. So yeah, that's, and it's been doing a deep dive in the eighth house, which is hell, which is gone down to hell to resurrect and come back to really, so what bullshit you've kind of like evolved out of. And what you're done with. Eighth house is like attachment issues. This could be codependencies. This could be money stuff. This is, shame, guilt, the deeper things, like everything that needed to be released internally that was blocking you from really stepping up more so into this leadership role out into the world. Because, with Neptune here, you're in touch with your higher self and you're going to be more intuitive and you're going to be able to flow a lot easier into what's really meant for you and be kind of at the right place at the right time. You're going to be luckier. And we're moving into this era after the literal dark ages. And you know how to show up out in the world, in a way stronger way that is kind of more authentic to you. So it's really like committing your time and your energy and the right relationships and what you truly deeply want, when it comes to like who you are out in the world and what relationships you want to merge with and how can you really commit to that with what you value so you can make your best magical life happen. So yeah, King of Swords came out for you. So it looks like you like are serious now. After dealing with all of the eighth house bullshit, like you are clear headed, you know what you want, you know what you want to go after. You kind of have an eagle's perch now. So instead of being too watered down in other people's bullshit with Pluto that was in the sixth house too, like other people's stuff, needing to take on other people's work, needing to um, deal with whatever. Like you are clear, sorry. You're clear now with what you want. See, the King of Swords, I love the King of Swords. It's like you are the wise, one that people are going to be approaching, that you can be like the stone, in a river, like just sloshing all over the place. You can be that stone that has that wide perspective, of what needs to happen and when it needs to happen and where stuff needs to happen that people can kind of naturally go to and kind of get advice or guidance from, because you kind of have this knowing. Divine Feminine came out on your side. You have mastered getting into this sacred, not repressed feminine energy. So if there's any emotions coming up during this moon, make sure you release it. Don't, hide it from those relationships and everything. You really need to unrepress. And a healthy feminine energy always lets her emotions flow moment to moment to moment, because a passive feminine will repress her emotions and then she'll be passive aggressive later down the line. And a feminine that doesn't embrace her wild side can, have, I don't know, just also be bitter, like turn out being bitter and everything. You're getting into your healthy, divine, feminine energy, and there's so many ways. You can't be love and light. You can't be all the way dark. You have to ride the whole spectrum, and that is healthy, divine, feminine energy. And with that, you will be very intuitive. You'll be in touch with that knowing and flowing with life on your Dharma timeline with more luck and more opportunity. But yeah, it looks like, with your King of Swords energy, you might have cut somebody out. You might be very, very stern with what you want now. Nine of Swords came out on your person's side. So it looks like your person's very in their minds, very like kind of stuck with a lot of worry and anxiety and the mental, like just mental self-sabotage, and they might be too logical in general. And like the Knight of Swords energy, it is, it is like not all our thoughts are our own archons, so there can be ways that they're self-sabotaging themselves with just negative thoughts that aren't even theirs. You notice how most of them are black, and then there's a one, white one, which that's like maybe the right idea, but the rest of these are all doom, 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 because that's what happens with the mental body if you haven't really cleansed it out, if you haven't really connected to the higher chakras in the higher, but it looks like your person is kind of going through a cleanse too. Saturn is going to be has been in Pisces, which is really messy. It's been with Neptune, which it also doesn't like, very messy. The real structure that they're North used to having, the real routine, the real boundaries even, or what they're supposed to be focused on. Like everything's kind of a sloshy mess for them, and they're also being pointed in a fated direction. And they're also going to be going through a rebirth, just of like who they are now, like with Saturn that's moving into Aries, that's going to be on Neptune. There's kind of going to be a rebirth for any serious relationship that you're going through right now. So yeah, they're going to be probably a sloshy mess for a bit. And let's see, Nourish came out reversed. So self-growth, self-focused, soul finding. It came out reversed. So, they might not be doing this when they actually really need to be doing this. And then that's where they would actually find their inner core and everything. Because there's a way, like, they can't be so self-focused with Saturn and Pisces. You kind of have to be more so collective focused, more spiritual focused, and not so much in their ego and wallowing. I've kind of noticed that a lot with the relationships. Like they can get stuck in their ego, they get so self-focused, and then they sabotage themselves because they're not focused on the bigger picture and like nourishing themselves, taking care of themselves right now. It's not push, push, push. It's like slow down. This is God's time. Like this is like you got to let things just like flow, and you got to take care of yourself and kind of focus on the bigger picture. Really listen to your soul. Like this is soul finding time, not ego time to push things forward time. And yeah, it just leads to more disaster usually. So let them figure that out. You can give them the wise sage advice and everything. You can be that divine feminine energy with that unconditional love and support and everything. And you have that knowing with all this Pisces mess stuff to give them guidance. And sometimes you usually just have to say one or two things for it to kind of click. Um, so yeah, it looks like in between you though, a lack of beliefs, or there's some beliefs that need to be released. And the Nine of Wands is like it could be beliefs, but it could be other people's burdens that they feel like they need to carry. But they're, yeah, just their beliefs or something that they're doing in their life that's like a heavy load and they're stubborn about it. Yeah, stubborn about ideologies with Aquarius ruling the seventh house, that aren't working. They're standing on the wrong platform. And yeah, it seems like maybe this could be us, the Queen of Wands. We might be a little bit fired up and just telling it what it is, but people only hear you when they're ready. And they know you're there at least, so they can come ask you when they're ready. But you know, let's see. What's the outcome? What's the outcome of this situation? I guess maybe don't be too shiny and intimidating. No, actually, no. It's your time. It's time to step into being the shiniest and the brightest again and the most luminous. Don't tone down your light. The right person is going to come to you either way. It's just fate, it's just destiny. This is a very fate and destiny moment. You're going onto your Dharma timeline, so don't dim your light for anybody. Yep, the Empress came out reverse, literally, like the outcome of this situation, the Empress reversed. Maybe somebody needs to let go of something that's valuable or another feminine energy. Um, what was a comfort zone, what they thought they needed for security and safety, but they actually don't need. Um, nine of Nine of Cups came out. It looks like that's kind of, yeah, you just kind of got to focus on yourself. And you both got to focus on yourself, I guess, and focus on your own happiness and what lights you up. King of Swords came out reversed, so it's like clarity on the King of Swords reversed. Okay. Yeah, they're gonna realize, so it's so funny. We came out as the King of Swords. They came out as the King of Swords reversed. So it's like um, the negative King of Swords, which is the wrong way of kind of being in that masculine energy, which is too logical, not in the heart, not like fair and balanced for all of us in humanity as a species, like too self-focused again, too rigid, too cold, too walled off, and they're going to realize where they're misplacing their time in their energy where it hasn't been serving them. Because yeah, there's something about either community or people, Six of Pentacles reversed, where they've been putting their time and energy where it hasn't been reciprocated, where it has been kind of a waste, a little bit down the drain. But that's kind of going to lead to the realization of what's like not valuable anymore and what needs to be let go of. So, messages from your person, Leo. I've enjoyed this. You're always on my mind. Messages from your person. I let people manipulate me into ghosting you. Anything else? I should have fought for you. All right. Thank you so much, Leo. Hi, Virgo. So this is happening in your second house. So that has to deal with your money, your values, what you value, so you can recognize what you value now, so you can manifest your life and, your security and the resources that you need, the lifestyle that you want to live. And, it's really being highlighted. So you're going to be able to see like what is working and what hasn't been working when it comes to making money. And, it's always good to like focus on what's working, keep that going, that's sustainable. But there's always room to kind of update and change things. And so look for the ways to update, kind of open up your world. There could be new relationships, there could be new ideas, there can be just new that could be very exciting, that could make you a lot of money. And you can also heal a lot of self-worth issues, or just your self-worth in general, pump up your self-worth, with like spending on beauty and stuff that just makes you feel good. Buy a business suit, buy like clothes, get your hair done while Venus is in Pisces. Don't do it while it's in Aries. um, and then be careful with the North Node too. But yes, but with Venus going direct on Saturn, you're going to be able to make a serious commitment with yourself, and the partnerships that you work with. So these could be business relationships, this could be clients, like you're really seeing like which relationships are really working for you now. There's some sort of clarity, and this could be a destined relationship that you had the deeper conversations with. This could be a triggering moon because like Chiron and the sun in the eighth, like just triggers coming up that like from the deep, internal part of you that needed to be brought up so you can transform and let stuff go. Um, but like also like kind of wait for a bit if it comes to like really investing in something like a business idea, or like being oversold when it comes to some sort of like if someone's selling you something, just take a little time, be very like serious and considerate with not just dumping a ton of money on anything right now, because with Mercury on the North Node, close to Neptune, you could be bamboozled in a way. So it's really important to just take your time. If it's a big investment, if it comes to partnering up with somebody, the right person will kind of wait around anyway, but the right person's definitely, kind of coming into your life with all of this. So it's really important to be very high vibe. All triggers are very beneficial because you can really heal any of those wounds. So you can open up your heart and connect on a deeper, more intimate level, have those deeper conversations when it comes to love, sex, money, in your relationships, and be just way firmer moving forward. So yeah, and you're feeling drained in general because the South Node's in your first house. So it's definitely important to rest. You can't push all the way. You can't be a workaholic. You need to rest. You need to prioritize yourself and your self-care and your self-love. And yeah, not be too overworked. You really need to go with the flow and know that the flow is the way to go, because that's going to lead you to the best like things possible. Yeah, so your intuition's like majorly trying to talk to you right now. But like you have to listen. Like don't be too practical, don't be too structured. Don't be like it's the universe's time, God's time right now. Like you can just take a break because good things are coming with Jupiter in your 10th house, good opportunities. There's a lot of opportunities. You got to select the right opportunities. And then Jupiter going into your 11th, there's going to be even more opportunities. But it looks like you can get on the right page right now when it comes to your relationships. Commit more to the ones that are really working and there for you. And maybe release any of the ones that, have been like dragging you down, or just you're not seeing eye to eye anymore. You might be just evolving out of the lower relationships. It's a vibrational rematching when it comes to relationships. But it looks like you can easily be on the same page with the right ones, motivated towards your hopes, dreams, goals for the future, really aligned. with what you value in a certain relationship, and, ready to just expand and conquer the world. So don't be afraid to step up. Um, don't be afraid to kind of take the reins with what you want. So, yeah, Emperor came out reversed on your side. So you're figuring out like how you can really step into your power, but also like you need to recognize the healthier masculine energy. It's going to be balanced with your heart, it's going to be balanced with feminine energy and that natural flow, and not just push, 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 work, 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 because that's going to cause more pain and more apprehension and like, more anxiety when you do need to let, higher vibe spiritual people kind of let you know how to go with the flow. But you could be facing, just past pain from the past, obviously, to it, where you even felt like you needed to constantly go and go and push and push. So let those triggers come up to maybe realize like where you don't feel like you need to be. You don't need to be perfect to be loved. You don't need to work for it. You just need to be. And yeah, also, what's pain? Let's see. Yeah, just balancing out your healthy masculine energy. And we all have masculine energy, and that's how we take action in the world. And making sure it's really aligned and balanced, like mind, body, spirit. And then emotional storm came out on your person's side. So turmoil, unstable, affected. Makes sense. Like they were probably really going through it with this Mercury and Venus retrograde, but we're moving on. Okay. So any problem that's been coming up, um, they've definitely had to ride that emotional wave. But with that emotional wave, they're ready to be serious, actually. The Eight of Pentacles came out, so it's like knowing what to take seriously, knowing what they need to work on now, and knowing how they need to move forward in a slow, steady way. And it's going to take some time. But with that, like both of you do want to release heartache, any heartache that happened. And yeah, all it took was like in between you, this was the block, it was the Queen of Cups, is those more emotional conversations, more compassion, more outright love that needed to be shared instead of any of these emotions that were suppressed. It all just needed to be kind of brought up and talked about. So what's the outcome of this situation? What's the outcome? Yep. Nice. So you're definitely getting over major karma when it comes to relationships. The devil came out reversed. So you're not falling into the same karmic traps anymore. You're not falling into the same loops and cycles and having the rose-colored glasses and, playing just outdated themes. You have clarity now. You have that light bulb moment. You know what you want in love, and your beliefs about love and money, and you're ready to just really go conquer the world moving forward, and you know what you want, and you can commit to yourself and the right relationships with that. And yeah, it's the outcome is having more balance, my if you want love, you got to make room for love. If you want work, yeah, have a balance between work and love and all aspects of your life. Make sure you kind of diversify when it comes to like, make time for friends. Yeah, make time for friends, make time for pleasure and fun. And then release anybody that's also like maybe hangman, unhealthy Pisces won't make a decision, kind of like back and forth and flaky and whatever. Like someone that maybe brought you a lot of happiness at one point, but there's some sort of lack of commitment here, a lack of stability here, but hopefully not a third party situation. Really know that the right person is coming in at the right time, and that you cleared the karma to kind of move forward in a serious way. So let anyone that's really coming towards you, let them prove it to you right now. Don't feel the need to like overgive and overlove and all of that. Like know that you're kind of in the right universal flow to go towards the highest love at the right time. Messages from your person. Let's see. I'm in love with you. I sabotaged our connection, but it was too intense. That makes sense with everything that's going on in your seventh house. Yep. It would be. I want to make you happy. I miss your smile. I want to reach out, but I don't know how. Oh, well, yeah, a really strong connection does want to come in here for you. Don't take action towards it. Let them come towards you. Okay. You don't got to put in all the effort. They need to come towards you and do the work. All right. Thank you so much, Virgo.